Silver's Rayleigh. This leader is the new king of aggro in OP12. With RP Law banned and Jinbei packed up, this is aggro's new chance to shine. This leader reads you may reveal 2 events to buff a base 4,000 or less character for 2,000 power, and you are not allowed to play cards with a cost greater than 5. At first, this leader might look buns, but it actually got printed with a lot of strong support. Let's go ahead and look into it. I'm also trying to grow this new channel, so also don't forget to like and subscribe, please. So this is the deck here, and it's 1 card off from the recent Rayleigh deck that topped in Japan. I just prefer Divine Departure. Cards like Divine Departure or even Gatling rather than playing a consistency card like Sabody. That's my personal preference. I think Divine Departure or Gatling can get you out of weird situations rather than just having the extra piece of consistency. But if you don't think you need Divine Departure or Gatling, you can just go ahead and add Sabody instead of the Divine Departure. So this is a deck list, and for those of you guys who haven't seen Rayleigh before, you might be a bit confused by how many events we have. I think we have a total of 18 events here, but don't worry. 11 of these events are actually 2K counters that also have alternative effects. Like this unit here is actually Diable Jambe. It's a Diable Jambe that's also a 2K, which is absolutely insane. So we're able to get it with running 4 copies. We have Conqueror's Hockey here, which can actually be like a it's also a 2K counter, but you can have -1 to your opponent's entire board. So this is going to be very strong against literally any deck, even against Green Zoro. Even when they resend, it's also going to be -1K. So that's very, very strong. And it can get us out of lethal situations. And we have Armor Hockey as well, which is basically just like you get to attach an active Don to also give +1K to something. So it's just an extra +1K. It's like if you're on a lethal turn, you're working with 11 Don rather than 10 if you use one of these, for example, right? And then 4 of these are also a searcher as well. And then 3 of these are utilities. So you do see a lot of events here, but don't be worried about getting bricked up because yeah, most of these are just 2K counters or it's a searcher, and then only 3 of these cards are like real bricks, and they're bricks that we can use, right? Like Mogan can clear a unit, or Divine Departure can also clear a unit, and it can also function as counter as well. So a pretty strong event package here. Aside from that, the rest of the deck is pretty much just aggro mania, right? Like typically in red, we're gonna play like low 1-cost searchers because we get to fill up our hand while still establishing a body, right? The number 1 unit here is actually going to be Buggy, especially against Green Zoro that can't even clear this card with its leader. Just being able to swing 5K off the rip is going to be insane, right? Like imagine going first, you play Buggy, turn 1, boom, you're already swinging for 5K with Buggy. That's just absolutely nuts. Then we have Sanji here as well. Not only is Sanji a searchable Straw Hat off Nami, but it goes against starve strategies, and it can also just produce extra pressure, like especially if we play like Buggy turn 1 and we get lucky and we play Sanji turn 2, right? Like our opponent's gonna swing at Buggy with their leader, and then we just get like a free Sanji activation, right? Because that 5K would have won out our life instead. So just being able to buff up the Sanji for free is really, really strong. And it also attaches 2 Dons itself, which also turns on Luffy as well. So that's very strong. Then we also have Boa Hancock here. This card's also very interesting. I think this is a really hard card to use properly, right? So its on play is already pretty good. It's like on play, you get to add a red event or Monkey D. Luffy to your hand, which is very strong. But then it also has a secondary effect where you can trash this character, give up to 2 Rested Dons to one of our leader characters. So you have to decide whether you want to make your board wide. You have to decide whether you want your opponent to attack into this unit and leave it on the board, or if you want to use it for extra pressure to rush the opponent down to 0 life. And more often than not, I think rushing them down to 0 life does work, just thanks to having 4 Diable Jambes in the deck. But I do think there's also unique situations where it is better to just leave the Boa on the board. We also have 4 rushers here. So we have 2 Zoro and 2 Kid Killer. Zoro will be searchable from Nami, which is very strong, but Kid Killer is actually searchable from Observation Hockey. So Observation Hockey can search for any red event, or it can search for a character with 3 costs or greater. And this is a very, very strong event because in the past, Kid and Killer typically isn't searchable in the decks we play it in, right? So having a card that can actually search for it is very impressive. And I think it's just very strong to be able to swing 7K for only 4 Dons. So that's very, very strong. Then we also have Sanji is here. Sanji is also going to be absolutely nuts because we can play this off the new Monkey D. Luffy card, which I'll talk more about later. And just being able to draw a card after dying is very, very insane. So you actually notice in this Rayleigh deck, despite being like a bum rushy aggro deck, we actually have a lot of cards in our hand. Like it's honestly extremely impressive. Like we have a lot of cards in our hand. Like you'll have to just play the deck to really see and understand it. But then we have this Monkey D. Luffy card, and this is probably the main card that finally made Rayleigh viable. Like prior to this card being a thing, this deck was probably going to be buns, right? But having a unit that just becomes 6k power for free, right? Because all you need is two or more attached Dawn, and then can also actually go all the way up to 8k with our leader ability is absolutely nuts. And we also get to play a 3k power less unit for free with this unit. So that means being able to play like Sanji off of a Luffy is just going to be ridiculous tempo for us. And then aside from that, the three utility cards I chose was Mulligan and Divine Departure. As I mentioned earlier, this Divine Departure slot could also be Sabody, or it could be Gatling. I just prefer Divine Departure at the moment. I think there's a lot of uh, random units you can clear with it. I think Mulligan only clearing 7k is sometimes it's sometimes lackluster in certain situations, right? Like the only way you ever lose to like Zoro, for example, is if their Mihawk somehow just is going crazy, right? And like most of the times you're gonna beat Zoro regardless if they beat Mihawk, but just I think having this card to clear something like that in weird situations is just very, very nice. Rather than imagine if you need to get a Mihawk cleared or you need to clear some big body and all you have in your hand is a Sabody, right? So that's why I like this card. But I think Gatling is also pretty impressive. It's definitely a card to explore more as well. And then Mulligan, I think Mulligan is just a staple at the very minimum at 2 copies. Being able to clear Sanji, putting on curving and GP Luffy is going to be nice. Being able to clear like Cavendish's or Tashigi's is going to be very nice as well. I think it's a card that just gets a lot of utility and it makes sure that we don't lose to cards like ACOS Kid and stuff like that either. So that's it for the deck list. Let's go ahead and talk about the Dawn curve. First, we'll look at the going first curve. So on one Dawn, you want to play any searcher with priority to Buggy, of course, because being able to swing 5k on that next turn is going to be very strong. You want to play Observation, Haki, more searchers, or Sanji. I think typically if I can play Searcher plus Sanji on this turn, this is fine, and I'll save Observation Haki for 5 non-turn. But you definitely do want to find the Monkey D. Luffy, which thankfully, like, Nami, Shaku, and Observation Haki all search for the Luffy, so that's simply fine. And 2-cost Sanji is also going to be very strong on this turn as well. So I wouldn't play 2-cost Sanji unless you've already secured the Luffy or if you have Observation Hawk in your hand. But if you have, Sanji's very, very strong because being able to just burst for that extra 7k swing is going to be very, very strong across the board. Then on your 5 down, you're going to want to play Monkey D. Luffy, and you ideally want to play a 3-cost Sanji, but if not, Boa is pretty much fine as well. Boa is going to be very strong, as I mentioned earlier. Just being able to trash it to attach 2 down is going to help produce extra pressure really fast. On 7 down turn, from this turn, you can start considering playing rushers, right? So if you can get your opponent to like 2 or 3 life on this turn, which they should be, then I think you can go ahead and just start slamming down rushers because from this turn on, we want to start defending our board anyway. So rushers are going to get a lot of mileage because chances are we're just going to be defending the rusher on the next turn. But if you don't have any rushers or you haven't produced enough pressure yet, playing a second set of Monkey D. Luffy is probably fine as well, but I think typically you do want to do rushers. Then on your 9 down turn, you want to start looking at lethal. You want to be setting up for 1 or 2 Diable Jambes. So you should either get your opponent down to 0 life, or you should put your opponent in range for where you can get them to 0 life on the next turn, or you can just set up 2 Diable Jambes if they're playing a lot of blockers. Now for the going second curve, on 2 down, you typically just want to play Buggy and a searcher or just 2 searchers in general. Just typically, ideally, Buggy. It is also possible to play Boa Hancock on this turn, but I generally prefer to say Boa Hancock for later, just because being able to trash it and attach 2 down is so strong. On 4 down, if you're lucky, you can pull off a Monkey D. Luffy this turn. If not, I think it's fine. You can play like double searcher and swing 5. If you got a Buggy turn 1, maybe you can swing 5 with leader and Buggy and play like 3-cost Sanji and a searcher, just stuff like that. Then on 6 down, you definitely want to be able to play Monkey D. Luffy on this turn for sure. And at this point, your board should be fairly strong. And by our 8 down turn, we should be able to start slamming down rushers and getting our opponent in lethal range, and we should be defending our board. Then on our 10 down turn, once again, we want to be setting up lethal, or if we drew a good enough hand, we should already have lethal on this turn. So aside from this, some general tips. I think this deck, I don't want to say it's self-explanatory. There's a lot of skill in this deck, but the skill is primarily in combat. So in terms of playing cards, you generally just want to avoid playing rushers too early. Uh, yeah, you generally just want to avoid playing rushers too early, and you typically want to play four cost Luffy before your rushers, at least one four cost Luffy before rushers, and then if your opponent is if you've already produced a lot of pressure, then you can go ahead and play uh rushers, but if not, then consider playing forecast Luffy again. Another important tip is don't be scared to defend the board. As you can see, the majority of our deck is pretty weak. Like the only units that we can typically defend confidently are like forecast Luffy and our rushers. But I think there will be unique situations where we'll give 3 or 4 cards out of our hand even to defend a 3K unit, just because it's going to be that much easier to set our opponent down to 0 the following turn. So definitely don't be scared to defend the board. Like if you're in a situation where you're like, damn, if I defend this unit crazy, I'm gonna set my opponent to 0 next turn. Just go ahead and defend the unit. You'll be fine. And then aside from this, you're just gonna want to practice combat math. Combat math is it's very complex. So I don't think there's one general tip I can give. But I will say if you want to get better at this deck, you're going to have to you're definitely gonna have to be watching your gameplay back. Sorry, you're gonna have to be watching your gameplay back, and you're gonna have to be looking at if you swung for the right numbers, right? Like you'll see in the game that I'm about to show you guys, like for example, my decision to keep Buggy standing and then swinging bigger with the other units on the board is just that's just a basic example of making the right combat choices. But with that being said, let's go ahead and look at gameplay. All right, so we're doing a game here against Green Zoro. I'm definitely gonna go first. I really want to see Buggy, so I'm gonna mulligan this hand. And oh, we did see the Buggy. We don't have a second event for it yet, but we'll definitely be able to find it. So this hand's already pretty good, but I think I'll go ahead and grab the Armament Hockey just in hopes of being able to draw into uh more units to resend into. So we'll go do this. I do hope I top deck. Don't want to top deck an event just so I can like slam Sanji. Oh, okay, okay. Well, now I kind of just now it doesn't matter. Yeah, they have the Hiyori there. I have a few options next turn. Let's think. If I play a second Buggy, I can easily go 5/5/5. I think this right. I can go. I'm doing math right. Yeah, I should be able to go 5/5/5. So we're definitely not gonna do the Armament Hockey yet, actually. And then we're gonna go ahead and play out the Buggy. Yeah, double bugging this matchup is actually just like disgusting. Like this is rough. I actually could have went 6, so this was a misplay. I should have just played out this out first and see what I got. Observation Hockey I'm definitely gonna want for later in the game, so I think I'll just grab it now because my hand's already good enough. And this Nami can also search for the 4-cost Luffy I was hoping to find, which I don't find it here, but we have Sanji, which is pretty good. And then we'll go ahead and pass just because I want to have 2 events in my hand to use for leader. And the next one will be pretty. Oh, okay. They're gonna pop the Buggy. Okay, fair enough. So I'll probably go 5. Oh, 6 at 2. Okay, are they starving me? Interesting. Uh, I don't think I typically see this as a line, but see if it works out for them here. Do this, boom. Then we'll go ahead and do this. This will allow us to play out our Sanji. And then I still want to have 2 events in my hand because it seems like they're starving me. So I'll just attach a second, go 7. We'll take it from here. So this next one should be like Tashigi. I wonder if they'll probably Tashigi Sanji, right? I feel like that's just their safest line of play, but we'll see. I'm not quite sure you can even starve Rayleigh. I'm just gonna have infinite time to like just beat their face and pause. So we'll see what happens. Oh, they do actually go for the Luffy. Interesting. Huh? And they're only swinging 8. That I don't think that can be correct, but 2K 1K. Go 8K lead. Okay, so now they're getting a little bit of pressure going. Oh, yeah, give me a moment. Yeah, I'll come in a sec. Okay. Um, so in this situation, I generally like to get mileage out of buggy as well, but it's just not really it's not really necessary. Because I could just like force her life down to zero, but I do think I just like to get more cards. So I think that's where we'll go for more cards. So I'm gonna reveal two events. Oh, they have this Verona that can swing back on my buggy actually. So actually I'm down to go for more aggro route here. So do this. Uh touch it on here. Check, check, check. Zoro for sure. Touch another down here. Check, check, check. Kid killer. Okay, so it's actually this is interesting. This is an interesting situation here. I actually think I'll get the defensive event just because I already have double rush here. I honestly think this is fine. I'm gonna go 7, 7. I don't want to risk the trigger, but I feel like this is just so it's just so good. Cause like Zoro just be bricked up. They might really just be bricked up in their hand right now. I think I'll do this. Like they have to guard out of the 7. I think I'm down to risk the trigger. Yeah, and then 8. Are they already at 0 just like that? This deck plays a lot of bricks, by the way, so you can actually just run them over like this. And then I think this is good because my buggy's still standing, so I can still use the next turn, right? Like attaching forward onto a buggy is like the same as swinging like 7K with the Kid Killer, uh, on your lethal turn at least. I don't know if that makes sense. So I think I definitely made the right decision not swinging this buggy here. Okay, so they still rested this. They don't have Mihawk though, so it's a very oh, unless they're about to play. Oh, Luna. Wow. Okay. I mean, like, do they have the counter to like live? Like, what? What? Yeah, like, yo, I'm like, they never have the counter to live there. GG. That's it for the video. This Rayleigh deck is actually pretty strong. I think it has a good amount of good matchups in the meta, but the decks you lose to hard, man. Like a Nell, you lose to pretty hard. I would argue that Bonnie, depending on their build, not honestly, Bonnie you just lose to pretty hard in general, and even control decks can be a bit difficult. So I'm not sure how much Rayleigh will actually see in our meta, but I do think it's a pretty strong deck. It's a lot of fun as well, so I definitely would keep your eyes on this. And with that being said, let me know what you guys think about Rayleigh. If there's any other aggro decks to check out. And with that being said, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.